Hey everybody, I'm Christopher Green and you're watching AMTV, Alternative Media Television. Before we get started, please check out today's sponsor, Infidel Body Armor. Infidel Body Armor is made for the smart civilian prepper and is capable of stopping all common North American rifle, shotgun, and pistol rounds. Infidel Body Armor just won't quit. And when you need it most, it's the only body armor you want to be wearing. Aaron Alexis, better known as the Navy Yard shooter who allegedly killed 12 people in a violent shooting rampage on September 16th after getting questionable access to high-level security clearance to the Washington Navy Yard just blocks away from the White House, is back in the news. According to Darrell Issa, California Republican and chairman of the Oversight and Government Reform Committee, his staffers have come across verbal and written policies from the Office of Personnel Management that indicate the security clearance process was short-circuited in the case of Aaron Alexis. He also suggests that the Office of Personnel Management, the OPM, is refusing to turn over critical documents to authorities and only allowing them to be viewed behind closed doors. Why? And what is the administration covering up? Mr. Issa says he thinks the OPM is trying to protect itself from embarrassment, from questions about the clearance process for Alexis and whistleblowers like Edward Snowden, the former NSA contractor whose leaks have exposed some of the government's most secret and invasive spy programs in U.S. history. But is this all the administration is trying to protect itself from? Embarrassment? And what else could they be hiding? It's important to note that the OPM failed repeatedly to recognize warning signs of Aaron's violent past and mental imbalance. Authorities failed to turn up important information about a 2004 arrest in Seattle when he was accused of shooting the tires of a man's truck in an anger-fueled blackout. Another arrest came in August 2008 in DeKalb County, Georgia, on a disorderly conduct charge. 2 years later, he was arrested in Fort Worth, Texas, but never charged, over an allegation that he had fired a gun through the ceiling of his apartment. And in 2010, the Navy moved to discharge Alexis due to what military officials described as a pattern of misconduct, including insubordination, disorderly conduct, unauthorized absences from work, and at least one instance of public drunkenness. Yet still, Alexis was honorably discharged, cited due to a lack of evidence, and was able to gain high-level security clearance to the Washington Navy Yard on that fateful day. In addition to blatant, if not intentional, failure of the OPM to uncover immediate red flags of Aaron's criminal conduct, he was also clearly mentally and psychologically unstable. According to CNN, Aaron Alexis was under the delusional belief that he was being controlled or influenced by extremely low-frequency electromagnetic waves, known as ELF. According to the FBI, ELF refers to low-frequency electromagnetic waves that are used for submarine communication, weather modification, and is a mind control technology to monitor and manipulate unsuspecting citizens. Well, wait a minute. I thought all this was conspiracy. Not according to declassified documents from Project MKUltra. Project MKUltra is the code name for a secretive and highly illegal U.S. government human research program that experiments in the behavioral engineering and modification of test subjects through the CIA's Scientific Intelligence Division. According to Wikipedia, Project MKUltra began in the early 1950s and was officially sanctioned in 1953. The program engages in many illegal activities, in particular using unwitting U.S. and Canadian citizens as its test subjects, and also using numerous methodologies to manipulate people's mental states and alter brain functions, including the surreptitious administration of drugs, especially LSD, and other chemicals, hypnosis, sensory deprivation, isolation, verbal and sexual abuse, as well as various forms of torture. And as the Supreme Court noted later, MKUltra was concerned with the research and development of chemical, biological, and radiological materials capable of employment in clandestine operations to control human behavior. Alexis, who was obviously mentally deranged, claimed he was hearing voices in his head and was also having trouble sleeping. He specifically claimed in uncovered documents that he was the victim of gang stalking and also a target of ELF. CNN reported that he had carved the words "my ELF weapon" in the sawed-off Remington shotgun he used on the morning of September 16th. And he also suggested that he was the victim of an ultra-low frequency attack and that "it's what I've been subject to for the last 3 months," read a message obtained by federal authorities from Alexis's thumb drives, phones, and computers. And to be perfectly honest, that is what has driven me to this. End quote. Not only was Alexis hearing things, specifically mentioning ELF as the culprit, but he had also been actively seeking medical attention. He claimed to doctors on August 23rd from a Virginia facility that he needed help sleeping and was prescribed a powerful sleeping agent to treat his insomnia. He then returned to a VA emergency room just 5 days later after his prescription sleeping meds ran out, claiming he needed even more. And a few weeks later, after seeking professional help on numerous occasions, he was on a violent killing spree at the Washington Navy Yard. Also, interesting about the case is that there's no clear motive outlying the attack. CNN notes that the shooter did not target specific victims and that it seemed to be a random shooting. So outside of any identifiable motive, and judging from Alexis's own admissions and imbalanced mental state, the only reason he went on the killing spree in the first place was to stop hearing the damn voices in his head. We may never know the true culprit behind the vicious attack on September 16th, and like most cases involving lone gunmen, they never lived to tell the tale. But what we do know, according to sources in the mainstream media, the FBI, confirmed statements from the killer himself, and readily available declassified documents on Project MKUltra, the technology ELF does in fact exist, and an admission in and of itself that is quite horrifying. The question is, was it used on former Navy man and civilian contractor Aaron Alexis? And what is the administration hiding? I'm Christopher Green, and you're watching AMTV, Alternative Media Television. Please subscribe to us on YouTube for more videos like this, Facebook at Greenwave TV, and Twitter at Greenwave. Click link below to support our sponsor.